me build my business. I'm surprised that so few of my colleagues take advantage of. Despite my interviewing and promoting the product, the service, and the partners in this business, is advancing probate funds before the petition is approved or after it's been approved, and using the funds for expenses, attorney's fees, other needs for the property. And so I'm really excited to share with you guys a partner that I've worked with a firm for a while now, who also helps members of my team around the country, including Florida, build their business. Alyssa Rakovich, who is part of Inherit Now, which is a company that advances heirs some of their probate proceeds. Alyssa, thank you so much for joining us today.
Hi, Bill. We're happy to be a sponsor, and we enjoy working with EXP and you and all of your affiliates.
Thanks so much. You know, the thing that surprises me, I know that you or your competitors have been on different national podcasts like mine and a couple of the other ones. You guys are in business theoretically. You're marketing yourselves and doing things you do. But I always feel like when I talk to attorneys about your service, there's only two types of people. There's the few that know very little about it, that assume it's overpriced and too expensive, or there's ones who've never heard of your service. It's like I'm describing the invention of fire. Why is it that this product or service is so is not better known and used by other professionals in our business, do you think?
Oops.
Question was so good, I froze her. No, I'm guessing her internet tied up. Let's see.
Bill, that's a very good question. I think, can you hear me? Did my okay. That's a very good question. I think attorneys fall into a couple of categories. Mostly they are experts in what they do and they stay in their lane very well. And they've become successful by doing the same thing over and over as a specialist. They are not sellers or promoters of outside goods and services. And I think that's where you as a realtor could really come into play in helping and advising these attorneys as to benefits for their clients that they really don't understand and they don't know about. I mean, Inherit Now, for example, provides a non-recourse advance on inheritances. So there's no hassle, there's no frustration of waiting for probate to close, and there's no paying the money back. There's no having to get approval for your FICO score. None of that comes into play. And like you said, attorneys say, well, when you hear inheritance advances, they immediately think, you're going to overcharge my client. This is ridiculous. Well, of course, it's a non-recourse loan, so there will be fees involved. However, if they need $10,000 to get a real estate property fixed up to sell, understanding the challenges and the opportunities and providing tools and resources to work within those parameters is really what we're able to do best.
So let's unpack that. One of the things you mentioned, because you're familiar with the term, is non-recourse loan. That's a significant piece. Explain how non-recourse loans in real estate are cases where maybe you take out a loan on a commercial property and it's the name of your company. You don't sign up personally. There's no recourse against you personally. But this is different. Explain how the non-recourse loan, non-recourse probate advance works versus a loan. No? I think we're having some internet issues. Was you there?
Yep, I'm here. So non-recourse loans, like you were saying, is the money doesn't have to be paid back.
Right.
When it's non-recourse, we take on, as Inherit Now, we take on all the risk. We take the position of the inheritor or the beneficiary remainderman. So if there's no money at the end of the day, we pull all of that risk on ourselves. So for example, if the asset behind the estate is a stock and the stock goes to zero, we run that risk of having nothing there at the end. So those are the things that we can really step into. For example, if it's an equity account and you're worried about market fluctuation or volatility, if it's real estate and you're worried about real estate fluctuating and volatility, this is a great way to get liquidity. And one of the biggest areas, I think, and challenges is in the probate market, and what you as realtors have to deal with and go through when you're dealing with probate.
And I think the idea of it being non-recourse also should work to the attorney's benefit, meaning their attorneys will take a case, getting paid their probate fees at the end. In a
Yeah,
sense, they're taking that risk too. But if you do the advance and give them a retainer towards that, then it's helped reduce the risk for them. But also, more than the risk, it's you've underwritten it. It's a second set of eyes. Is this person really the heir? And they're going to do their due diligence. You're going to do your due diligence. And I just feel like having a second partner do that helps protect the attorney's time and investment in the case as well. Again, not looking to stick you guys with a bill, but maybe relying on your expertise sometimes to say, hey, this really isn't the heir. We've discovered something, or there's not as much equity as you think.
absolutely.
And then
And
at least the
and
attorney
I
make an
think
informed
it's
decision.
really important that we're partners and we all
Right,
work together in this.
right.
And that's what it's about. I think sometimes the attorneys want to do things in silos, and where you all can really partner with these attorneys and help them, and a lot of times take a lot of the burden and weight, heavy lifting from them.
Yeah. The second part is, so it's not recourse. Second is that it really kind of helps the customer get over I don't have the couple $1,000s of expenses, meaning even if the attorney says, well, I'll take it and you don't have to pay me any attorney's fees, I'll take everything at the end. Some will do that, some won't do that. There's still a question of who's going to pay fees. Sometimes some of the fees can be waived, like the filing fees. Some can't be waived, like publication fees. And these fees in LA County can be $1,200 to $2,000 or more if you have a squatter or need to fix the property. So talk about the potential uses of a probate advance. What can they use the money for, and what can they not use the money for?
Sure. Probate advances can be used for anything that they want a use for. It's not like a loan where we are a bank, we're lending you to use it for this or that purpose. So inheritance advances can be used for anything that you need to use the money for. You just have to have filed probate first with our product.
Okay. So just real quick, some housekeeping. We'll just take a quick second here to kind of break off and say where we are. And for those of you who are participating, this is Probate Weekly. We do this every week on Thursdays at 4 p.m. Pacific time, 7 p.m. Eastern. You can sign up at probateweekly.com, and this is the landing page that we have there. And you just put in your email address and you'll get notified. Now, if you want to join in on the podcast, you can see it. If you want to join in on the YouTube as well, you can see it. And then we have more resources down below. Probate Mastery is a coaching company that I do some work with. Executorium is a great service to sign up and promote your business. The Probate Experts Facebook group is a great way to continue the conversation. And you can also post your probate content. If you're looking for leads, I was looking for a referral in Cherokee County, Georgia this morning. I posted there. You can post your probate related content to get reviews and such. Agents say, well, how to build my YouTube channel? One way is post your content here. We'd love to have you do that. So feel free to join us in on that. Our guest today is Inherit Now, Alyssa Rakovich, inheritnow.com, though the website here is estate-registry.com/inheritnow. This is one of the three products. We're going to have her on talk about the other products at another time as well. And then if you want to sign up as an affiliate, you can, or if you want to send a lead to me to help you with, in lieu of that, inheritnow.com/BillGoesProbate. There's the link right there, a QR code, and we can help you with people right away. And you just fill out the form and we'll get on your inherit probate advance if you want to do it that way. But you also can contact them about becoming a affiliate if that's something you can do as well. One of the things that I was really excited, for those of you on the call who are agents, I am building out a national platform of real estate agents across the country. I have a partner in Florida, and Alyssa connected with my team member in Florida, and they're doing some kind of joint marketing where where Alyssa and the agent both are trying to reach different organizations to extend the opportunities. Talk a little bit about some of the things you do to help real estate agents or other professionals in building your business that helps them build their business?
Sure. I think one of the really important aspects of being a realtor in the probate space is having uh, understanding the challenges and being aware of those. One of the things that this particular person does very well is she has a high level of emotional sensitivity. She understands that going through and dealing with probate properties, you have usually are working with someone who's lost a loved one. So these are um, areas where it requires a high level of empathy and sensitivity. She's very, very good at that. So understanding emotional sensitivity is a big challenge. The other is legal complexities. Um, there are a lot of intricacies that are involved navigating the probate court system and understanding how all of those procedures work and making a smooth transaction. So, being able to have seminars where you come across as emotionally sensitive and very competent about the legal complexities and understanding how to deal with properties and the conditions that properties are in. She's willing to go out to properties that may be in various states of disrepair. So, being able to host educational seminars and discuss the legal complexities, how we deal with properties, especially if they have heirs that are out of state, and then the extended time frames. Properties where people are out of state, it requires real estate professionals to be very patient because there might be multiple heirs or beneficiaries involved in different states with different time frames. Someone wants to sell it immediately, someone's not willing to sign off on it, but if they own it jointly and they're joint remainder men, there can be issues. So being able to host lunch and learns, being able to attend different events. One of the areas we're very active in are the senior assisted living facilities and working with people who are advising seniors on where to go next. These are seniors that might have had a fall recently or are in a position where they're finally coming to terms with the fact that they may not be safe at home by themselves and their children might be living out of state. So being able to work with people who do placements is a great other source of referrals. So we do a lot of networking events with these people.
And so I just urge you guys to reach out and see if there's a way you guys can overlap together. Geographically, I know you're based in Florida. Do you service other market areas physically
We
or online, or how do you handle that?
we are nationwide, so we service across the nation, and our parent company is actually in 8 different countries. So our one of our softwares won most innovative software of the year in the UK. So we do go globally as well, and I'm happy to assist via Zoom meetings if I can't get there in person.
Wow. I've been trying to reach out to attorneys in the UK to get somebody on as a guest on the show. I just think that, well, I'm sure the laws are very different. I'm sure a lot of the principles are the same. And of course, UK, they always sound, especially London, they always sound so sophisticated. So if ever you come across an attorney who's open to it, I would love to get one on the show.
I'll help you with that, Bill.
Hey, just a reminder, we are live streaming this on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube. If you're watching live on YouTube, I see a bunch of you are, or Facebook, if you put comments in there, we'll pick them up and I'll bring them on the show. So feel free to join in and be part of the party. And we'd love to have you guys participate as well. And of course, if you're on the Zoom call, that's the easiest way. You can either raise your hand, put a comment in. Love to have you interact and ask questions directly with Alyssa, who's really become a partner to our business rather than it's nice to learn. It's nice to have somebody to talk to, but really, this is someone who's offering to help you if you have the right setup of a senior living facility organization or something along those lines. She's available to and want to talk to you about reaching out and doing some joint marketing there. So, you come across, I'm sure, I don't think realtors are your focus. I think it's a relatively new area that I've brought to you a little bit, but you've seen other realtors, the one you work with in particular, Melanie and others. What is it that you see that helps those who are successful building those businesses, or maybe what are the opportunities that are available that maybe some real estate agents are missing?
Sure. I think that it's a very limited market. There's not a lot of competition when you're dealing with realtors that truly specialize in probate and have a process. And what the top probate real estate professionals do really well is they understand the market, they understand the value that they bring. They're very specialized in their marketing strategies. They tailor their approach. They do a lot of networking and building relationships with attorneys and any area where they can find executors. And they they really do a great job as far as understanding what goes in to probate, because the real estate market can have several very positive impacts. And when you have access to cash and liquidity in a probate situation, it facilitates so much more. And some of those key points are like expediting the sales process. So being able to differentiate yourself as a realtor by being able to buy properties outright, make offers, helping them to access funds enhances their liquidity. And that's always helpful because it enables buyers to secure properties, it enables sellers to get out. There's a huge competitive advantage for investors who can quickly access funds and capitalize on any market opportunities. It really puts them in a different position where other realtors will say, I'll sell this property for you. They'll say, we can do these things for you. Which option works best? Do you want to rent the house? Do you want to have the house bought out directly? So it's not just, I'll list it, give me the listing.
Right.
You're so much more to them than that.
Yeah, and I've had estates use the advance funds to stop foreclosures, pay the arrears and maybe next 90 days worth of payments. I've had them use it to get tenants out by hiring an attorney and doing evictions. I've had state use the money to secure the property and help us, get it into a sellable condition and get better return. I had one customer who used it to get money for a funeral for her aunt who really raised her like a daughter. And in many of those cases, it's like life-changing opportunities. Rather than being disempowered, they become empowered. And so that's why I just feel so strongly about this service and really want to introduce it to agents that I know, because I just think the market, this is a product that should be integrated in the marketplace more effectively. For whatever reason, attorneys aren't so keen on it. This industry has always gone through attorneys. I think that we as realtors can be the intermediary to make it more effective. Let's talk a little bit about the process. So somebody says, "Hey, I'm interested in advance." They can either come to you or go to me or however they initiate with the company. What's the intake look like and what's the timing look like for a decision and the actual transfer of money for an estate that qualifies?
Sure. So probate must be filed for. So as long as you have a probate case number, that it can be looked up. Uh, it's a super simplified process. And Bill knows this because he has his very own link. So he can provide his link to a potential client. That client either goes on or he inputs the information directly on behalf of the client. It's the name, address, phone number, email, contact information for the client. It goes to our service department directly, and you'll get a call immediately from one of our staff. They'll follow up with any questions and ask you sort of what the situation is, get any information. If you're working with an attorney, our attorneys on staff will reach out to their attorneys. And within a 24 to 48-hour period of time, depending on what the need is, we could have things funded.
Yeah, I think that's a key thing. Literally, it can go from initial contact to 3 or 4 days to having it funded. And it would happen sooner, but the customer has to sign the paperwork, and that might take an extra day or two to actually get that done. But the truth is, as fast as the customer moves, it can be 2 or 3 days. And I've done that routinely. I will say it typically takes longer just because the customer, I think they drag their feet a little bit because they're not 100% sold, or they think there's a gimmick or something about it. So they seem to still take 7 or 10 days to get it done. But the truth is, it can be done that quickly. And think of cases as a real estate agent. Think of cases you get where there's imminent foreclosure. You could literally get the money to them and stop the foreclosure in 7 or 10 days. The money can be wired to the attorney, and sometimes the attorney can negotiate with the lender and then send the funds there to stop the foreclosure as well. So there's different things that can be done that are just, you know, the magic happens, and it often happens, I think, that quickly. Um, okay, so you have a list here of topics we're going to talk about. So let's talk a little bit about the sales process or different uses of the funds. What if I made a list and list up a few of the examples that I'm familiar with, which is the expenses of the probate, expenses of marketing the property. What else do you see as uses for probate advances that you've been involved with?
A lot of times it's maintenance. If the property requires any sort of maintenance, repairs, the heirs don't want to put the money up. If the property has upkeep, it can be a real financial burden. So if you're not able to sell the property quickly, all those costs add up and up and up. Property taxes, that's a big one. It can be challenging. Debts, sometimes the heirs discover there are outstanding debts, um, and legal expenses, inheritance taxes. There are disputes sometimes among the heirs, and one heir just wants to get the money because they don't want to fight with their brother and sister. They just want to grieve the loss of their loved one and in peace. So, those are all the reasons we sort of see.
And when they say, give me $10,000 and I'll sign off everything right away, boom, you get that $10,000 in a few days, and then simplify the process. So I think all the things that we struggle with as realtors in probate that's both unique to probate and not unique, most of those problems can be solved with money one way or the other, and this is an opportunity. What kind of security, what kind of loan to value or equity to value, or how is the underwritten? I know it's case by case, but give me general parameters as to what, you know, the value of the property has to be in relation to the advance.
Sure. We generally loan out on 50% of whatever their portion of the
Hmm.
inheritance would be.
Hmm.
And we don't like to go under 10,000. So our minimum loan is 10,000.
Hmm.
But we've had loans in some trust situations that have been as high as, half a million or more that
Woo,
we've paid out.
woo, those are good ones.
Yeah.
I know it makes your team happy. So again, $10,000 the minimum, and then typically speaking, 50% loan to the value of the estate. So not just the value of the property. You have to think of the value of the estate. And they're not going to necessarily go on your list price. They're going to look at the value of the property, do a desktop review of some sorts. And that's why we as realtors can, I think, add to their security a little bit. I know that I had a case. It was with, I don't think it was with you guys. I think it was a competing company that had referred me somebody, and they were advancing on a property they thought was worth in Las Vegas about $400,000. But when we drove the property, it had really been taken down to the sticks that somebody had started to remodel, and the property as it sat was worth half of the $400,000, and they had a mortgage on it. They had other attorney's fees, and so at least we brought back to them, hey, this is a problem, and you're over your guidelines. So I think as realtors, we have the chance to be partners in this process and earn our way, and earn referrals, and earn other good things by doing our job and working together and helping. And in that case, also I brought the attorney's attention, because the attorney also was working on the come, and he didn't require money up front, but he was counting on getting paid through the probate. Well, it turned out it was like a short sale for probate, so there's no money there really for anybody to get paid. And in California, you can't just drop the case because there's no money. The judge won't let you. You have to,
Hmm.
they may make you stay on to finish the case out. They want you to finish the paperwork. So these are cases where we as real estate agents can really bring value, comp the property, you should take pictures of the property, rather than just rely on Zillow or Redfin. We can actually get them some real value.
And Bill, one of our large differentiators amongst our competitors, besides our competence level, and I think the way that we handle client relationships, is also we pay back funds if probate closes early. So we take a tiered approach, and if the case closes early, we actually have it written in the contract that we pay back money to those heirs.
Right. And I think that's an interesting way. Every company has different ways of presenting things. So I think your company presents as, we charge X, and then if you close early, we're going to give you back some of that as a bonus or a refund as why. And everybody likes getting a refund. I mean, there's nothing, nobody does. So I would, generally don't sell that feature. And that way, when the money comes back, you're a hero. Everybody likes getting an extra amount of cash back. And I think that definitely adds to it. Okay, so let's see here. So coming to the probate process to consider request when the probate has been granted as per executive reason not to provide for the docs or the legal request of beneficiary of statute of limitations expired. Well, long, detailed question, Shay. I don't know how to, I don't think this is quite the forum for this question. This is more for an attorney. Lisa's not an attorney. She's an executive with the Probate Advance Company. They have an attorney on staff or attorneys on staff, but that's not her role. And then also I would just remind you that laws are different in every state. And so we try to talk about the common principles in different states. I'm not sure what state you're in, Shay. Maybe offline if you want to. That would be a great question to post on the Probate Weekly forum because we have attorneys there from around the country. And just make sure if you do post a question there, Shay, you put in what state you're in so someone can answer that correctly. For those who are watching online, I'm referring to a question on the Zoom call, so sorry to get off track on that. One of the things you offer, Alyssa, is for agents who are committed to maybe do a couple deals with you and learn the process and become partners is some marketing support. Talk a little bit
Absolutely.
about what agents can do to participate with you to add, not just add your tool to their toolbox, but maybe add some of your marketing to their marketing luster.
No, absolutely. And one of the things we offer all of our partners is advertising. So we have our brochures, we have your specific link that goes right onto your website and your portal to help draw more attention. We do a lot of articles for education. So we have an entire article base where we can provide articles for you to send out to all of your clients and prospects. Lots of things like you've inherited a house out of state, what do you do? Or, when somebody passes away, what's the checklist? So all kinds of value add articles that are purely educational that you can send out to your networks.
And I think for everybody on the call, I'm not a probate coaching company. I'm not selling data. I'm a colleague here. I'm looking to mastermind and to learn and to grow my business together with you. But when agents ask me, how do I build my business? How do I grow my probate business? How do I add probate to my otherwise successful real estate practice? I would say to them, the number one thing is start with people who already know, like, and trust you. Learn something about the business and share with them. Well, and I also maintain that if you've been in business a while, you have some probate attorneys in your database you're not aware of. Either the spouse is one, or the spouse is a clerk in a law firm that does probate or trust administration, or their relative does. And so one way to flesh that out is by posting good content. If you learn something today on the call, go to Inherit Now's website and find an article that you find interesting and post it on your social media, or advance record a short video, talk about what you learned here today, and link to yourself and or Inherit Now website material. Because all you do is know a little bit more than your customer to bring value to them. It's not about you knowing everything and giving them a piece of time. It's about you knowing one thing and sharing it, then another and sharing it. And that's the purpose of this Probate Advance. I think for all of you who are looking to add or build your probate business, this is an obvious, easy piece to discuss, both to impress the attorneys you want to work with, are working with, and the consumers who might be in the probate process. And you're going to find somebody's going to say, oh, I didn't know you did probate. My uncle passed and my cousin has a property and he doesn't know what to do. That kind of stuff happens when you shake the tree by posting material. So I would urge you all to take advantage of it. My link's in the chat box if you're on the Zoom call, but inheritnow.com is the website, and go there and find something that you find interesting and post that to your business. Let's just talk a little bit about, maybe not so much specifically the company, but you kind of share, your success as a professional's business. What are some of the disciplines that you bring to your business to help you grow it? And or you see real estate agents need to add to their business practices to help them build their business?
I would say education and networking. I think those are the biggest things. People like you and they respect you in the community, and they know who you are, they want to work with you. So I think being active in the community and being seen as someone as a go-to person, expert in your field, if you will. So getting involved. I'm part of the estate planning councils networks. They have them all over. So there's something called National Association of Estate Planning Councils, and they have estate planning councils in every state. So I would encourage you to look at their map and see if there's one close by. I would also encourage you to work with people who uh, do things that parallel what you're doing. Someone like they're prepaid funeral home professionals. They do a lot of lunch and learns, and they're looking at helping people prepay for funeral expenses. They might be good people to partner with that, might have real estate property. They might be making changes in their life because they're thinking of planning for events in the future. And transitions, whenever anyone is in a transition phase in life. So if you look at marketing toward people in transitions, I think those are all areas where you'll find a lot of success when you're in a sales type environment, because that's when people are in a mindset for making decisions.
There's a lot to unpack there you gave us, and I think the thing that I would, if I was to replay what you said in my words, there's so many different people connected to the property that goes through probate and transitions. Find the one that fits you, and more importantly, reach out to your database to find people there who might be in those spaces unbeknownst to you. You may have a client you sold the house to, and you knew the wife, but you know the husband, and he works for a prepaid funeral home situation, or you know the husband and you don't know the wife works for some sort of senior transition home company, and all of a sudden you can have a whole career just based on that. Each of these vertical pieces, we think of probate as a niche. I think of it as a super niche. Within probate, you need to find your niche, and one that you can use. Like I said, Melanie, the probate nurse in Florida, she really is focused in on those organizations where nurses are part of the process because she was a nurse herself and she has those skills. What are your skills, or what does your Rolodex have that gives you some unique opportunities? And so I think Alyssa gave us some nice insight into the different organizations that can play. Okay, so just a quick roundup. If you're watching this on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, feel free to jump in, ask questions, and I will pick them up and put them in. I have a couple Zoom questions, but man, they're long, and I'm not quite following the questions. So I was just say, Shay, I see the second question again. I would urge you to post that on something that's long and involved like this is ideal to put on the Facebook group Probate Weekly, because we can flesh out the question, ask those questions, and get a little deeper, and then find the right attorney in the right state that you're dealing with. Also, paralegal is appointed executor as per instructions. She gives the lawyer. Okay, again, I'm not quite sure how that's a long discussion, I think. But if you're on the call, on the Zoom call, feel free to jump in and ask questions as we wrap up as well. And then just to kind of go back to kind of the housekeeping of where we are and how we got here. This is Probate Weekly. We do this every Thursday at 4 p.m. You go to Probate Weekly. I mute myself. Okay, somehow I muted myself. I'm not sure what that's about. Wow, we're having some fun technical stuff today.
Bill,
Yes.
Bill, one more point I forgot to add. We also offer CPE and CLE. So if you're working with financial advisors
Oh,
or you're
wow.
working with estate planning attorneys, we offer CE for both of them. So I could do 1 hour CE presentation. So if you wanted to get in with networks of financial advisors and estate planning attorneys and offer them CE, feel free to reach out to me and we can work something out there for you as well.
Fantastic. And so one of the questions I did get here from Global Real Estate 7 is how did they connect with you? Somebody was interested in following up with you about hosting a CPE or some sort of a continuing education program. Alyssa, what's the best way to get in touch with you? And of course, she froze
But
right on.
I put all my information in the chat.
Okay, let's see here. I can see it real quick. I'll read out loud. Okay, I'm not seeing it. I believe you. It's not a quiz. I
Oh,
put my link in there. And the question that Winston asked was, do you have an affiliate program? The answer is yes. And again, I would say, reach out to Alyssa. I think one of the things I've done in my business, I get approached with so many different affiliate opportunities. My basic rule is I want to do a deal or two and see how it works before I worry about the money and the paperwork. So yes, of course, they have an affiliate program. I'm an affiliate with them, full disclosure, and the link I put in there, there's her contact info. Alyssa Rakovich, phone number 302-442-2791, and her email is arakovich@estate-registry.com. So if you want to reach out directly about a CE or some sort of education program, as well, if you're interested in being an affiliate, you should talk to you about that. Again, I would just urge everybody, let's be smart with our time. And I tell people before I fill out paperwork, I want to know that we're going to go somewhere with it. And I also will say, now I don't mean any knock on Alyssa or her company, but part of why I got involved in this space was because I was working with a company that did do a good job, not them, but one and then another. And so I had actually decided to research all the companies I could find. That's how I found Inherit Now. And they are my preferred provider. But I will say that I like controlling the lead myself. And so rather than turn over to them, I'll give them the parameters and see if it's something they can pre-underwrite. And they have in some cases, and other ones they haven't. And that way, if they can't do it, I can try taking it somewhere else or find some other way to get the deal done. And so it's important, I think, to learn the business and be professional. But definitely they have to fill out a program, and Alyssa can give you the details of that as well. Okay, I don't see any unanswered questions. Again, other than Shay, I would urge you to go to Probate Weekly in the Facebook group there. Anything else? We got your contact info, and talk about the affiliate program. Anything else I should cover, Alyssa? What's the last 2024? Where do you see your industry, and where do you see in general this business headed for the next year?
well, I think unfortunately we're seeing people having a harder time with everything, right? So making ends meet just in general. So I think there's going to be more and more demand on liquidity, and people are going to want access to their cash and funds as soon as possible. So I see a real need for it in the marketplace, and as people's needs extend, we're there to service that need in the marketplace.
I agree with you. I think that the economy is getting tighter and tighter. And it was interesting. The other day, my wife was talking to me, and I explained to her why I do probate real estate. And she said, well, then you're kind of recession proof because people are always dying and you're in the business. And the truth is, I think this space has gotten more competitive, that more and more realtors are looking for niches. But the people coming into it are newer. And the opportunity for us is to excel and to differentiate ourselves by offering more advanced services and more advanced features and more knowledge than our competitor. And so specifically in this area, this is one where, and I've had this experience where an attorney would say, oh, that money's really expensive. And I'd say, well, yeah, it can be. But, if we avoid a ex parte hearing to avoid a foreclosure, or if the customer gets you as an attorney instead of picking the wrong attorney who won't require money up front, or if the customer can file now rather than shopping for attorneys for 3 or 6 months, then the money becomes relatively cheap. And it all depends on how they use it. My job as the realtor is to help the customer use the tool that can be expensive if misused, use a tool in a way that's effective for them by using it properly. And so I do think this is an opportunity for us to differentiate ourselves. The more that attorneys think it's a bad thing, I think for us who are educated on this, it's an opportunity to show it's a good thing. And again, that gets down to, that's why I do this podcast. That's why we'll take clips of this podcast and post on my social media. That's why I'm urging all of you to go on the website and post it in your social media, because you want the attorneys you work with to realize you're not the average realtor who doesn't know what they're doing. You've investigated this, you know a little bit more, and you've met somebody, a real professional. Most attorneys, most realtors have never talked to an Alyssa or her equivalent, and they don't know the program, they don't know the product you guys have. So let's make the commitment together as professionals to use this opportunity to differentiate ourselves. As I say all the time, I don't worry about you guys competing with me. If 100, 200 people who are going to be on this call between today and replays. If we just did our work, we control the market, I'd be fine with it. Put the other agents out of business. But working together, right, we would be more effective rather than competing individually. So that's my goal. Okay, I don't see the questions. Alyssa, I think you guys have a really straightforward program, and I would encourage everybody to participate. Thank you so much for making time today. Now, preview, Alyssa mentioned kind of passing, if you paid attention, that the company does a couple other things as well, and she's going to come back and talk about those other programs and go into more detail then. So she's somebody that we're going to get a chance to know a little more detail here in the next few months. But that, and also I want to remind you guys, it's 4 p.m. in California. We started now almost 5 p.m., but it's 7-something p.m. where she is in Florida. So she took some time to be this later today, to be with us, share with us, and share her program. So on behalf of everybody on the call, Alyssa, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate your time today.
Well, I appreciate working with all of you, and I look forward to a great 2024 working together and building out our relationship.
Thanks so much. And for the rest of you, this is Probate Weekly. We do this every Thursday, 4 p.m. Pacific time. I also wanted to kind of just share with you that we are launching a new podcast. You're going to see it. It's actually going to start next week. And I should have the name of this top of my tongue because we've been working on this so much. If you follow my real estate market update, you know that I take to task some of the big real estate companies in our industry that I think Zillow and Redfin in particular really take advantage of our industry and take advantage of us who have to play by the rules in our business. And so I'm going to be launching a new podcast where I'm going to go through one by one these corporate entities, talk about how they take advantage of us. The name of the podcast is Real Estate Ripoffs, Holding Big Businesses Accountable. In the past, I've done topics on Redfin, and so our introductory topic on this podcast is going to be on Zillow. So love to have you guys input and support on that. If it could help you, if you have suggestions on who we should investigate and take to task. It's not that I'm a hater. It's I think these companies don't play by the rules and they're putting us out of business unfairly. And I want to level the playing field so we all have a chance to compete and do business. So look forward to that. I'm Bill Gross. I'm at Bill Gross Probate on social media. Thank you all for being on the call today and your participation. Thanks again to Alyssa. We'll talk to you guys soon. Have a great one.
Thanks.